World Cup. Now France or Portugal. This World Cup.
Because France beat Australia, me.
Because
France look good. France actually look really good.
Very
I
good.
actually feel
They
Spain
look
will go
really
far.
good.
Spain will go far.
Spain will go far.
Spain will not go any
Spain
far.
will reach at least. No, Spain will reach at least the semi-final.
They won't.
Spain will reach at least the
They won't.
semi-final.
They
will
won't.
reach the semi-final.
Ini, let me tell you.
You will see now.
Ini, let me tell you. That squad, that team that Luis Enrique put out yesterday, that team that he put out yesterday, all they need to do is play one solid side. They'll beat them silly.
Play one
solid side.
They will not so.
Set up.
I don't think.
Wait,
that bad.
Rufai, do you know that there's not a team in this tournament who control possession against that team? There's not one team.
What do you call Zambia? What do you call Zambia? Possession they did a World Cup.
No, how will you beat them silly if you are not controlling possession?
You can beat them silly. France no beat Uruguay silly. France control possession.
And you know he has put this guy in defense. He put Rodri in defense.
Rodri.
I don't understand. That's the more reason why they played Costa Rica.
Rodri is better. It would be a better defender than that Javi Garcia.
They concern you. You are not. Okay, you are not listening to something. Rodri is better than Garcia. Rodri is better than Garcia in defense. Based on that's what Spain has. Rodri being better than Garcia doesn't make Rodri a good defender against a top team.
I agree. But my
look,
point is...
First of all, look at it. First of all, look at the team. Rodri and Laporte.
Laporte is a very good defender, by the way.
No. Laporte is a good defender. It's just a case of him not playing recently. He's a good defender.
But there's Torres now. Torres.
You understand?
Torres didn't play yesterday.
Now you now have Aspilicueta and this guy who played at left back and Jordi Alba. Alba is the only guy that can still contribute going forward. Aspilicueta and even Alba defensively. That's why I said they need to play top team. Look at the midfield. He played Sergio B.
Now. Alba no players.
He played Sergio B.
No. Alba played. Alba came on.
See, he played Sergio B. You hear me? He played Sergio B at the base of the midfield. And then Gavi and
Pedri.
Koke. Is it Koke or Pedri?
No, Pedri. Koke came on.
He gets Sergio B, Gavi, and Pedri. My brother. And then the attack was Asensio at number 9 to start the game. It was Asensio. Then I think Dani Olmo.
And
don't get me wrong. The team, those players they are good players. Those players, I like Dani Olmo very well.
Players,
personally. Do you understand? I'm
a brilliant player.
Yeah, I like Dani Olmo very well. But bro, that's why I say all they need to do is play a top team. If you saw the Morocco-Croatia game, as good as Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic, as good as they were, the problem for Croatia in that game was how much the Moroccan midfield was running at them. Running and running. That was the problem. They could not handle that Amrabat guy in midfield. That guy...
brilliant guy.
Croatia. So that's what I mean by all they need to do is play a top team.
No, my thoughts is, I just feel like Enrique wants to go into the tournament with the mindset that we can keep possession better than everyone. And if we keep possession for as long as possible, we can create chances. And they can create chances. Of course,
we'll create chances.
So you have Pedri, you worry a bit about them finishing those chances, because of, Asensio is not...
Asensio at number 9, Morata at number 9.
Morata didn't even start. He's this guy that
he started.
So you worry about them finishing up those chances, but the idea about the team is we can keep possession for as long as possible. And if we keep possession and we take our chances, we'll probably beat everyone in the tournament. And I totally agree that against better opposition like France, who have got real
That's
pace
what I'm saying. That's what I'm
them,
saying. Because
they
are questionable
against
everywhere.
oppositions like that. Against a position like that, you worry for them defensively. But I think Spain look really good. Forget about what they did against Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica are here to make the numbers. But I think that Spain look really good. Their transitional play is good. Pedri, in my opinion, is the most intelligent footballer his age. Gavi, hard work, so much energy in midfield, snapping into tackles. I worry for Sergio Busquets. That's why I don't know why they didn't take Thiago Alcantara. I think Sergio Busquets has lost a lot of legs. Against a better opposition, he probably gets a yellow card or red. So that's why I worry for them. But they look really good.
So the thing is that if you can get 80% from Rodri in midfield, why are you putting me in the defense where you?
No, I think maybe this guy Laporte is a left side this thing, and Pau Torres too plays in the same position. No, he's left-sided too, so you need another person. Yeah. So my own is what I said about Spain was if you for example if you consider yesterday Costa Rica almost, in fact, not almost. Costa Rica didn't offer anything going forward. So I'm speaking to. So I'm speaking to the weaknesses that I already see in the Spanish side.
Okay. I think so far, I would have to pick between Spain and France. The reason I would pick France is because of the fact that I didn't know that they were going to be this good after losing, Pogba, Kante, Benzema.
Come on,
these are guys who would make instant impact in the team. Yeah, I felt that they would. I said it on the pod one time that I don't think the guys would understand or they will have a better chemistry than you having a Pogba and Kante in the midfield like they've always done. In the past competitions. So I was really surprised that they could come out. Who did they even play? I was really surprised that they could be so good. Kylian Mbappe, Australia, yeah. Kylian Mbappe was also very, very instrumental. And Olivier Giroud as well. I think that the problem now is if Benzema was available, it would have been a serious headache for the coach. Because the honest truth is that Giroud plays better when you have likes of Mbappe and who plays the other right wing, because he does hold up play, he does link up play, which is what Benzema cannot give you. Benzema is also a striker who always wants to be, in the play. Who always wants to be.
IBK, hold on.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't hear you well. I hope I didn't hear you. I hope you didn't say that Benzema cannot hold up play. I hope that's not what
compared to Giroud.
Giroud, I'm sorry. I love Giroud. I think his hold-up play is great. But Benzema is the king of all hold-up plays. Don't worry. Top class, Benzema. Absolutely top class.
Are you sure? Hold up play.
No, hold-up play. Benzema is top class. Now, what Giroud does, what Giroud does is Giroud with, those depth touches, just being able to, flick the ball into good spaces. He does it so well. But in terms of real hold-up play, when you drop the ball to Benzema is someone who, in very tight spaces, can eliminate one or two players and bring other people into play. That's something Giroud cannot do. Giroud is not that skillful, but I understand what you say when you say, Giroud, for me, I think Giroud probably fits into every team in the world because of how he plays. The only problem with Giroud is he doesn't have pace. And he doesn't need pace when you have people like Ousmane Dembele, people like Kylian Mbappe around him. He doesn't need it. He can bring other people into play. And I agree that, if Benzema was available, probably Benzema plays. And probably France win 8-1 if Benzema plays.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I agree with IBK. I agree with IBK in the sense that if Benzema plays, right, I don't even know what I'm talking about Benzema. He's not there anyway. But if Benzema plays, it creates, a lot of headache for the coach because I don't know how himself, Mbappe, Griezmann, how they are going to sort out because they have similar runs. Except Mbappe decides, you know what, I'm just going to stay on the left wing. We all know how Benzema plays.
Yeah.
He drops in, drops to the right, drops to the left, drops into the midfield, picks the ball up, runs at the defense, position defense, all those things. So with Giroud, you are getting something very direct. It's like you have a wall that every other person can, bounce something off. And that gives you, a bit more stability in the sense that it's different from what Griezmann would do, what Mbappe would do, or what Dembele would do. So with Benzema, it's very similar to Griezmann, very similar to how Mbappe would run. So that's why, with Benzema, the coach begins to think, okay, should I play Benzema and not play Griezmann? Should I play... You understand? So, and you also then consider the fact that they've not had enough time to say this is the first time Benzema is back with the French side for a very long time. So they've not really played together. So kind of a blessing in disguise that Benzema is not available. Because and before the tournament started, we talked about all the injuries that France have got. But again, so far, they are still one of the best teams. So far, with the games that have been played, they look very scary. The kind of football that young man, Tchouaméni, is playing is unreal.
Man,
and
that guy is a proper
because they have a coach that's more conservative, even though he's got all these exciting attacking talents. It gives them a huge chance of winning the tournament again. Because when they play, one thing is sure with the coach, when they go out trying to prove any point of what superior in terms of possession or skills, it's going to be conservative.
But I'm going to say I was really impressed with what England did the other day, and the quality of the position was shocking. But there's something I always see about England going into tournaments. They always struggle. I see them going to tournaments and then you wonder what exactly are they doing. They are struggling to create chances. They're struggling to move the ball from midfield to attack and making it look really easy on the eye. That's what I saw on Monday. I thought it was really good. I thought the transition play was good. I thought Jude Bellingham, my goodness gracious, what a footballer he is.
What a player.
I love the what a player. I mean, incredible footballer. I don't think Mason Mount has played as well as I saw him play on Monday. I thought it was absolutely incredible, And I always say that as a number 10, when you get into a number 10 position, your job, if after a game you don't have more touches than anybody on the pitch, you have failed on the day. Because you've got to be in a position where you are getting the ball constantly and making things happen. And I thought Mason Mount did that as well. Harry Kane didn't score, but he was brilliant as well. Bukayo Saka obviously scored 2 goals. It was just smooth on the eye. I thought England looked really good, but I don't think we can get excited yet. I'd like to see them against a very proper, solid, hard to beat team like United States. I think United States will give them a lot more worry than Iran gave them. Impressed with them, England. I think that they look good. They shouldn't just get carried away yet.
But I think for England, just to say a few things about England, like you mentioned Mason Mount. People talk about Mount a lot on the internet. Sometimes people bash him and say, this, that. But Mount is that sort of player that is very difficult to drop for a coach. It doesn't matter who you are as a coach. I think he has the profile of player he is. It's very difficult for you to drop him as a coach. I'm trying to remember someone I can liken him to. I think, let's say Willian in his prime for Chelsea, for example. Willian is that sort of player that,
his numbers were not great. His numbers
were not great, but it is incredibly difficult for any coach to drop him. Because of how much industry he brings into games. It is very, very difficult. And then on his day, Mount is as good as any midfielder out there right now. On his day. is as
I
good.
agree.
I think that it concerns you. I think that what I liked about the England game, like you said, was that they've always, the last time, it didn't matter who they played against. The small boys, the big boys, they struggled to create goals. They were scoring from set pieces, penalties, free kicks, corners. But the seamlessness with which they created chances in that game. And yeah, we'll see them against USA and see how they fare. But I thought that was a very solid way to start the tournament, get confident going into the other games. But for me, the team I've been impressed with the most, I'm very surprised that we are all like, you guys went for the big boys. How can you not be, impressed the most about Saudi Arabia or Japan? Saudi Arabia, as a matter of fact, they beat Argentina. How can you be impressed with any other team, than, what Saudi Arabia did was nothing short of impossible. Because, and people talk about, oh, they won. That's not even what I'm looking at. Yes, they won, which is incredible. It is the manner with which they won. You have a Saudi Arabian team go into the game against Argentina with a clear plan and executed the plan against Argentina from the beginning to the end of the game. That's what I'm most impressed by. These are players that are playing in Saudi Arabia, not in Europe. They came into the game with a clear plan. I saw the game started on Twitter. People were like, this highline where these people they play. Against Argentina, highline against Messi, highline against. How do you go into a game against Argentina and decide, you know what, we're going to play this highline. We're going to set them up. That is incredibly bold. So we're going to set them up. We're going to set offside trap. You go set offside trap for Messi. So it was incredibly bold the way they approached the game. And it came off. And look, that was if they decide we're not playing anymore, we're going back to Saudi Arabia, I think they've done well, because the execution and going forward now, people have to take them serious, because the reason they beat Argentina, it wasn't just one god of football that decided, no, we're going to give you this result. No, it was because they had a clear plan there and they worked hard. So if they can do that against Argentina, I dare say, obviously, they will do that against other teams. Who knows? Maybe they might qualify from the group, right? Because that performance against Argentina was something else. It was something else. Japan as well, I thought that was a big win over Germany. But we all know that Germany have been very, they've not been the Germany that we used to know. But Argentina were coming into that game with a 35 or 34, unbeaten run. It's just incredible. And then the winning goal is worthy of winning any football match anywhere in the world. It was incredible. So for me, it has to be Saudi Arabia.
I've gotten the content I need. Fantastic. That's what I wanted. No I say Portugal and France and this team. People should get out. Please continue.
You will not get sent. This work where they do, we go soon sack you.
In France, you are most impressed with France. France beat Australia. You are most impressed with France. Get out.
He said most impressed with France. They beat Australia. He said you're most impressed. That one I agree with. This IBK, check the mad me. Check the wine me.
I don't tell IBK want to lose in touch. You want to lose your touch.
Check the wine me.
Make I lose my touch. I don't do so far. Make I lose the touch.
Hey, you know what me?
Make I lose the touch.
I be touch the man. You don't know touch like.
I beg the issue of Africa. Only Africans we never score. I beg me talk about and waiting they happen. And we say we want one more slot. We don't say we want more slots. The small slot we get, we still never score for first round.
Don't be only slot.
Waiting they happen. I beg about it.
But we've pushed above our weight now with Morocco and Tunisia getting a point. Nobody would have thought that they would have gotten a point now. So
what do you mean nobody thought?
Now only Senegal, honestly, don't disappoint outrightly so far.
Senegal, if Mane played that game, Senegal would have beaten Netherlands.
If Mane played, Mendy go there for Abi. If Mane played, Mendy go there. Come on, Rufai, they talk nonsense.
No. But if Mane played, Senegal would score. That
But
one
the thing
sure.
is, Mendy has been very poor in the last few months.
I don't know what's going on with Mendy, to be honest. I don't know what's going on with Mendy. But that goal,
Wale don't get sense. Mendy, the second goal Netherlands scored was Mendy's fault.
The first
goal
wasn't.
The first goal was
the first goal
was that cross. We missed.
So what happened for the second goal?
Second goal, he parried the shot. Go give Klassen now.
No, but that was not his fault. No, the second goal, they were desperate. They went to it for life. No, it was the break, so you cannot blame him for that.
Anyway,
but the first goal, he's got to do a lot more. I don't know what's going on with Mendy. Mendy is a top goalkeeper.
So far, which African team do you think will do something for us?
No, nobody.
because they are not scoring, and that's my worry. Because they are not scoring, I think Senegal will beat Qatar. Senegal play Qatar tomorrow. I think Senegal will beat Qatar. If they beat Qatar, that's 3 points. They play Ecuador in the last group game, and that Ecuador game would be a lot more difficult than the Netherlands game, because I fancy that maybe Netherlands will beat Ecuador. And if Netherlands beat Ecuador, Ecuador will need that game. So the best bet is for Senegal, is for Ecuador to beat Senegal, or to be Ecuador to beat Netherlands, so that the last group game they will make some changes and Senegal will have a chance. I don't see that happening.
The Netherlands-Ecuador game to me feels like a draw. It feels like a game that a draw can come out of. But Senegal go win Qatar, make them try take a busy chat. Make them no do too much. Make Qatar no ban things or that more things. For
I say waiting that Germany Prime Minister do. If not this European country, they no go agree. Because you are staying in the country for just 1 month. Baba, I just follow their rules. It's not difficult at all.
What I think is that, and like he said, we've talked about it before. What I think is that there's always everybody wants to show that I'm a good human being. I'm the best. Do you understand? And like someone responded to the picture of the German players covering their mouth, and the guy said, doing this is not a problem. It's a basic right to be able to do whatever you want to do. But the conversation is around the hypocrisy. If the problem is human rights violations by the Qatar nation, if that's the problem, there are human rights violations everywhere, right? Human rights violations, in the countries where you guys play football. Human rights violations, for example, Americans, or UK people can come and say, migrant workers, harsh condition, this, that. But guess what? The remote job industry, for example, the reason why these foreign companies hire Africans or hire remote workers from, lesser countries is because they get to be able to pay them shitty money that they can't pay to the workers in their country, right? So all these moral stand that doesn't make sense. There's human rights violations everywhere in the world. And aside from human rights violations happening now, there are history of human rights violations, that all of these countries have been involved in. So if we're doing this and they've really not apologized, not done any form of...
You heard Infantino say, he said the hypocrisy is something that makes me quite scared. And he said, if we were talking about human rights, then we Europeans need to apologize to the rest of the world for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
So people don't want to.
So at the end of the day, what then happens? Because these days now mob mentality, people don't calm down and analyze things critically. In Nigeria, for example, you have Nigerian citizens by virtue of, by virtue of, there not being proper structures to protect citizens, you have citizens being caught in, health hazards, occupational hazards in different industries. In the construction industry, you have people falling from buildings in Nigeria, and they are Nigerians.
Yeah.
In factories, you have people getting, life-changing injuries and all that, with nothing to protect them and nothing to reward them with. So these things happen. So it is not a case of, these people, they are just doing it because they are migrant workers, that's why they are treating them that bad. It's not a case of, the Qatar people just decide that because these people are migrants, that's why we maltreat them like this. That's why it happens everywhere in the world. I'm very sure if you go to America, go into the industries and the things that happen in the industries, you find irregularities, you find human rights violations, and some of them people, they know, right? So my understanding is, okay, if you go to Qatar and you go and cover your mouth because you are protesting, please, every time you go to any country, find out the human rights listing. Don't wait for the one that is dominating the headline. Find out the human rights problem that is going on in that country and protest against it. If that's what we want to be doing, then you have to keep the same energy across board. It's not that it's only when you now go to Qatar, where you go to this. As a matter of fact, nobody has committed atrocities more than the biggest and the supposed most civilized nations in the world. The US, the UK, nobody has committed atrocities on other people than this. So I mean, and the World Cup is already giving us good, solid, quality entertainment. Let us enjoy it. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, long may it continue. Argentina will lose their second match again. Conversation ended. Argentina to win World Cup. Everybody will rest. Who is Argentina playing? They can't lose that.
Mexico.
They won't win. It's probably going to be a draw.
Gentlemen, I need to run, please.
Emergency.
Please, I need to run.
No wala.
Senior man, I really bye bye.
Thank you all for joining.
Bye bye.